Hey, what's up guys? I'm C Love. In my last video, I built this very basic earthquake shelter that also functions as a workbench for my tiny apartment. I made it unnecessarily difficult, but the half-inch wooden dowels have proven to be a pretty nice conversation starter. As with all projects, I learned several things during this build that I shared with you once I got the video posted. I haven't built anything on it yet because one of my subscribers asked me, "Hey Curtis, do you want to fly to awesome San Diego, California and build me a floating bed frame?" Of course, I told her yeah, and hopped on a plane less than a week later with my blueprints in hand to go and meet my newest friend Erin. This is the very true story of what happens when one of you guys, a complete stranger, asks me to come and build you a floating bed frame. Come on, let's take a look. First things first, let's get the sanding out of the way. After I had slow baked in the California sun for most of the day, I moved into the shade to finish up before I started the assembly process. Erin had some specific requests for this build that we covered thoroughly before I made the trip out here. She wanted the deck of her mattress at 30 inches, side access storage at the foot area of the bed, and a mattress to be flush with the frame, among a few other things. Once I think I have everything accounted for, this very custom king-size floating bed frame was on its way to being done. To accomplish the side access storage, I'll first build a box that measures 54 inches by 30 inches that will go under the head area of the frame. The frame will be supported at the foot by some free-floating joist supports that are attached with mending braces and corner brackets. I'll get to that shortly. We had previously discussed using these adjustable height feet and decided on 2x10s for the base, 2x8s for the frame, and she already had plywood that we ended up reusing that was an inch thick. With a 12-inch thick mattress and feet that ended up adding about an inch and a half, we were going to be right at the 30-inch height as requested. Once I finished installing all 8 feet, we will move inside to start assembling the frame using 2x8s and securing everything together with 3 screws at each junction. With better planning, this next part may have gone slightly more efficiently, but we were able to finish our project in the end and everything turned out the way we expected it to. Erin's going to do the best she can to control the dust and debris, and I'll get us to a stopping point so we can take the pieces for the base outside to make them white. This was new for me because I prefer the natural look of the wood, but I'm shooting for 100% satisfaction on this build, so we will work well into the evening on the first day of my trip to make sure this gets done. After we zoom through the painting, we're going to let that dry overnight while we get some food and discuss how everything is going. Erin is anxious to finish up so she can show me the beach, the giant sequoias, and many other awesome things in California that I've never seen in my life. That's going to be the second part of this video and will be worth sticking around for. I didn't capture a lot of the frame assembly process on video, but I did take plenty of pictures to show you pretty much exactly how I built this one. Erin was cool enough to take some pictures of me while I was working that I was able to include in this video. I used some very legit mending braces for the 2 free-floating joist supports at the foot, and I also used some of these corner brackets on the edges too. I'll put an arrow on the screen to show you what I'm talking about. I need to pause here for a moment and tell you about these corner brackets. These are actually adult Legos whenever you leave them laying on the floor like this. If you step on this thing, it will bite you with the force of your entire body weight, and Erin will tell you that this is extremely unpleasant. Please be careful when building with these pieces right here. After I finish getting the lights attached, we'll cover the frame with some 1-inch thick plywood. This will complete the frame once these 2 pieces are secured down. We covered the frame with a huge fabric donut type thing that was actually pretty awesome. I'll link that in the written description below. I'll show you some shots after we got things set up, and then later on, Erin sent me a clip that I'll use for the final reveal. In case anyone is wondering, this is what the underside looks like, and will give side access to the storage area under the bed at the foot, just as requested. Erin has totally convinced me that she was as happy as she could be, and here it is, the bed frame that I flew 1,300 miles across the country to build. This was a wonderful experience, and I would absolutely do it 1,000 times again. Thank you, Erin, for everything. I genuinely appreciate you affording me the opportunity to come and make this happen for you. Well, that turned out super nice, but the work is done now, so it's time to go and play a little bit. Let's go see what the Pacific Ocean looks like for the first time in my life. Oh yeah, this is terrific. I did not end up getting in the water this time because it was much cooler than I anticipated, but I did a whole lot of looking and I noticed the ocean is a pretty spectacular place. We came up to the Scenic lookout area at Dana Point and it was worth every second. The neighbor had an awesome bird of paradise flower in their front yard that was so amazing to me that I showed it twice in this video. Gas prices were pretty hurtful to me on many levels, and there was some very interesting engineering and architecture with the buildings that were on the ocean front. I need to fill up some time here, so I'll just say some additional words for a couple extra seconds so I can let this video catch back up to me, and we'll be right back at it. We drove a very long way past a nuclear power plant, through very hilly areas, and past a grapevine on the way to what I'm really wanting to show you. I filmed the grapevines in slow motion and used my guy Ken Burns' zoom effect to show you what they look like a little better. These grapevines went on for miles in some places, and I can only imagine how much wine they are able to produce with all these grapes. So tasty. Hey, look at that right there. Now we're racing trains. Of course, any wildlife that makes an appearance will get featured on my channel, so here are some wild turkeys that showed up somewhere along the way to our destination as well. A little over 7 hours into the drive, we are getting closer to where we want to be. It's still another hour up the mountain to over 6,000 feet in elevation on a road that has something like 120 curves on it with a maximum speed of like 15 miles per hour or something crazy low. Unfortunately, you can see right here that it looks like some of these trees got smoked. Obviously, there was pretty clearly a forest fire here sometime recently, but hopefully there wasn't too much damage. Continuing our way up, I'll take this 2.5 minute clip and I'll speed it up to a nauseating 30 seconds so you can get some idea of what it's like driving on these roads and take a look at some of the enormous sequoias. The scale of these trees is impossible for me to accurately convey on any screen that will ever be manufactured. If you ever in your life have the opportunity to come and see these, you absolutely must do it. You will notice more fire damage on the ride up, and we had to pull over to the built-in areas of the road to let the people who need to see it right now pass by. We are taking our time though, trying to see and enjoy as much as we can with the very limited time that I have left on my trip here to California that is very rapidly winding down. This is something that I needed to do for my life to be complete. We will take a half-mile downhill hike on the Sherman Trail, stopping by to see a few very mind-blowing things on the way to see the largest tree by volume on planet Earth. This is the General Sherman, and it literally brought me to tears when seeing it in person. There's just no way you can imagine how large this thing is. All of the pictures and videos in the world just won't do it. I'll show you some other things we saw on the way down the mountain, and I'll wish you a happy anniversary or birthday if you have one of those today. I sure appreciate your support and encouragement, and you taking the time to watch this video and leave me a comment. Please share this video with a friend or family member if you found it useful or funny at all. Come back and see me. My next video will be a channel update where I'm going to catch an alligator with my bare hand, and I've got some exciting news in regards to a second channel that I'm working on. I'll see you soon.